Good evening, one and all. Welcome to the closing ceremonies of St. Michael's University School, Middle School. The orchestra has prepared a substantial portion of the Brahms Symphony. Please enjoy listening to the opening of this piece in the comfort of your chair until directed to stand up by the house manager, and everything will be fine.
Please be seated. Good evening and welcome. A little warning before we begin: nothing will come as a surprise. You know already that the students will be celebrated for their accomplishments and that the staff will be thanked for their work. You know that Mr. Abrio will make a few jokes and Mr. Snowden will refer to the vision and I'll throw in a pillar or two. You know already that there'll be an emphasis on how we all can experience excellence and we can all act as leaders and that we all have our own ways of learning. Insert brain research reference here. You know that the choir will be wonderful just as the orchestra truly was. And you know that there'll be good-natured laughter during the year in review video. There are no surprises for us tonight, so why bother? This is, after all, a perfectly good, beautifully sunny Friday night with limitless opportunity for relaxation or adventure. Again, why are we here? Well, I can't answer for you, but I will share a thought of my own. I think we're here because we value this community, the people in it, and the direction in which we're heading together. All the recognition and applause tonight is not about self-congratulatory pats on the back, as if we're ever so special or oh so talented or always living the pillars. We can't pretend to embody that kind of perfection. Rather than self-congratulation, I suggest that tonight we're gathering for a collective nod that rather humbly says, yes, together with those around us, this is the path we want to follow. That when it comes to all this talk about excellence and compassion and promise and service, these are the values we want to pursue. So tonight it should come as no surprise that every step on that path by each one of us is something worthy of collective recognition, applause, and celebration. A very good reason to be here. I invite you to join me in prayer. Gracious God, for the people around us, for this year behind us, for this night before us, we give our thanks. May this path we walk together shape our lives so that we in turn can do our part to shape this world we share. So we pray. Amen. Mr. Abrio.
Thank you, Reverend Fletcher. Good evening, everybody. I now invite our grade 8 class to please join us on stage. There, I think that looks a lot better. Thank you, grade 8s. So 1 month ago today, May 14th to be exact, I was in Vancouver with our grade 6-7 rugby teams at an independent school tournament. The next day, all middle school students wrote a math contest because we think they should all have that experience and challenge. That evening, our students took part in a cross-campus choral concert at beautiful Christchurch Cathedral. The morning after that, an entire grade of students went on a science field trip to Goldstream. After school that day, I watched many of our field hockey players compete on the turf at UVic. Those are just a few examples of the range of academic, athletic, and arts opportunities our students were presented with this year, and those were only over a 3-day period. On behalf of the middle school, I want to welcome everybody to our closing ceremony, and especially extend a welcome to people who have traveled from out of town. Tonight, we mark the end of another year as we gather as a community of students, of staff, parents, family, and friends. Here's a different side to life at the middle school this year. February the 6th. It's a Wednesday. Yes, it's pizza day. Mr. Beatty and Mr. Funander also remembered that day very well. They were on duty. I was also present, as I usually try to be on Wednesdays, because it's a good thing to have reinforcements on those days. That day, the pizza is late, very late. Not 5, not 10, not 15 minutes late. We are made of stronger stuff. We are middle school, after all. About 120 students are snaked along the hallway in Schoolhouse, from the doors of Brown Hall to Mr. Snowden's office. Out in the trenches, I monitor the tone in the hallway. I try to placate the students with promises that, don't worry, it'll soon be here. In truth, I don't have the foggiest idea where it is. Then for some reason, I begin to think about Lord of the Flies. And then I realize, that's okay, it's not studied until the third term. The noise level is getting higher, the students are getting increasingly restless. Someone has the bright idea to begin the wave. Just like in stadiums, to keep the students' minds off their grumbling stomachs. Turns out, trying the wave in Schoolhouse with 120 students who are very hungry is not a very effective means of crisis management. And then later on, I find out that the senior school math classes going on one floor above me are not amused. Something to do with writing tests. Mr. Beatty, Mr. Funander, and I are furtively planning our escape. The volunteer parents who help out on Wednesdays are definitely looking a bit uneasy. We make sure not to tell them where the secret exit is. Then just in the nick of time, the pizza arrives, 25 minutes late, in fact. Yes, just another day at the middle school. So each year, some things are the same and some things are different, and tonight's closing ceremony is no exception. This year, the orchestra is on the floor instead of being on the stage, and we have made room for all our grade 8 students to be on the stage. For me, it means I can't see them, but instead you have them in your sights all evening long. I don't think I've ever seen them so quiet. We'll see how long that lasts. Same but different. For the past several years, Ms. Wilkins has organized a middle school collaborative art project at the end of the year. I hope some of you noticed this year's version in the foyer outside the gym doors on your way in tonight. Students are asked to contribute 1 square, and only Ms. Wilkins knows what the result will be once it's assembled. I've given up asking her what the piece is going to say. I'm not allowed to find out ahead of time. We now have several of these pieces on display around the middle school, and this year's will join the others. Other aspects of this year-end celebration are also the same, but others are different. However, we're certainly continuing to highlight our students tonight through their participation in playing music, singing, speaking about the year, having some of their art on display, and receiving their individual record of achievement. It was in the spirit of this theme, same but different, that I was recently reminded about an event in mid-October which set me back somewhat. When I heard about the injury to Los Angeles Laker All-Star guard Kobe Bryant a couple of months ago. Now, while it may seem obvious to only a few of you that Kobe is a professional basketball player and I am not, please think of the following as same but different. Kobe and I both ruptured our left Achilles tendon playing basketball this year. Both of us had surgery, and we both faced a long recovery period. Kobe suffered his injury playing against the Golden State Warriors. I was injured while covering a PE class. At least it was grade 8. Kobe scored 34 points before leaving the game with his injury. I scored 1 basket. I think it was during a stoppage in play, before leaving the court with my injury. Kobe was helped off the court by concerned teammates who made sure he received the attention he deserved. I hobbled off the court, unassisted, while the game continued around me, trying not to get even more in the way. Colby works with Steve Nash, SMUS grad, the all-star talented athlete who acts as floor general for the Laker offense, deftly bringing the ball up the court and running the team offense when he's healthy. I work with Ian Farish, SMUS grad, who deftly directed over 120 middle school students on stage in our production this year. Now that takes a completely different kind of talent. Colby has about 1.5 million followers on Twitter. I have 20. Not about 20, 20. And some of those I pay to follow me, although I do have about 50 connections on LinkedIn. Colby won't be working for 6 to 9 months while he recovers, and will still get paid his full yearly salary of $30.5 million US. You've probably figured out that the difference there is that I am paid in Canadian funds. Colby will make a full recovery and is expected back on the court sometime next season. I was told by my surgeon recently that I was on the road to making a good recovery, quote unquote, for someone my age, which I think was a compliment. And I should probably never try to play basketball again, ever. Academics, athletics, the arts, leadership, service, these are all important foundational pieces to the middle school as part of an all-around approach to education. This year was no exception. On the academic side, this year included the continuation of diverse programs challenging students both inside and outside the classroom. New initiatives such as the Science Challengers program joined other activities such as Math Challengers, the Concours, Oratoire, and Model UN, to name but a few. All students were introduced to and began to develop an electronic portfolio, and this initiative will increase in focus next year, incorporating more student reflections about their learning. Teachers also reflect on a regular basis, continually honing their craft through professional development and collaboration with their colleagues. With respect to the arts, I couldn't help but notice this piece of news last week in an online article. Some schools are bucking trends and are expanding time for the arts. Some schools are adding additional time for students to learn art, music, drama, and other subjects, as well as dedicated staffing and resources to the arts. That's not news to us, nor is it a change in direction or allocation of resources. It's the way we've approached arts for years. One only has to spend a couple of days at our middle school to see the range in terms of visual art, band, strings, choral music, various ensembles, concerts, and, of course, the opportunity to take part in a major musical show on stage, in the orchestra pit, and behind the scenes. This year's show, Annie, resulted in more people attending our production than ever before. It was especially very satisfying to me to see some students step out of their comfort zone and literally step up to take part. It's a great way for our students to take risks and for some to hone their passion. The commitment by so many staff and others, both in the SMUS community and outside, was truly remarkable. Many are people who simply don't understand the concept of the word weekend. And they provided students involved with the opportunity to be part of something very special. And then there was a different Annie this year, the tropical storm that hit the East Coast in October. The storm that kept Mrs. Haydock stranded in New York for an extra long weekend away. But that's another story. In the area of athletics, it was once again a very busy and successful year. We hosted a national independent school girls soccer tournament in the fall, and I hope I have this right, and I haven't missed any sport we offered, but students were involved on the field, soccer, rugby, in the gym, basketball, volleyball, badminton, on or in water, or a combination, rowing, sailing, swimming, on the UVic turf, field hockey, on the squash court, on the cricket pitch, on the track, and on the field, on the cross-country trails, and on the golf course. We introduced a sailing program this year, where in the final regatta our students did very well, including some students who competed against high school teams. All our students had opportunities to be involved, and many did so in a variety of sports and levels. With leadership and service, highlights included taking part in the first Canadian accredited independent schools Grade 8 Leadership Conference in Ontario. We initiated a Grade 6 Legacy Builders Club. The Free the Children Club was very active on a number of fronts. Our web and student ambassador programs continue to play important roles. And what about those eco-warriors who had a tremendous year with their enthusiasm? I don't know about you, but I love the smell of compost in the morning. Those students also raised awareness about the number of environmental issues throughout the year. And showing leadership also means showing initiative, especially when you're a grade 7 student who submits a proposal to Parents Auxiliary for new picnic tables for the students, which was approved because it's just something she noticed the students needed. A year at the middle school is indeed a blend of same but different. Each year we see tremendous growth, academic, physically, emotionally, and socially. It's natural during these middle years for students to have some adversity, to experience changes within their peer group, and develop more finely their own sense of who they want to be. The grade 6s are a very different group from the one which arrived nervously in September. The grade 7s are chomping at the bit in the last term in anticipation of being in grade 8 in the fall. And the grade 8s are leading the way and at the same time looking ahead to high school. It's a natural progression. These transitional years between elementary school and high school are full of all sorts of changes, and it takes a skilled staff to help students navigate the waters of these middle years. In addition, the range of academic, athletic, service, and leadership programs happen only through the involvement of a staff that's committed to providing students with these kinds of opportunities, all integral parts of a well-rounded education. Please join me in thanking the entire staff for their work this year. So tonight, students will be recognized for their academic, co-curricular, leadership, and service accomplishments and contributions through the presentation of their record of achievement. For parents of students new to SMUS this year, a brief word about what they will be receiving. The record of achievement lists achievements and contributions by each student over the course of the year. It's divided into 4 key areas: special awards, academic awards, co-curricular activities, and service/leadership contributions. As I look over these records, and I've pored over them the last few days, as all the data finally comes in and we check everything, I can't help but notice the wide range of accomplishments and contributions of so many students. Many things that are listed come from opportunities that contribute to keeping students active, engaged in meaningful participation, providing social interaction with peers and adults, and allowing for creative expression. We will now continue our program by asking our grade 6 students to come forward to receive their record of achievement. Thank you.
I've never seen you so quiet, grade 6s. I wonder if we could ask Alicia Trinkatai-Fair to come up to represent the Parents Auxiliary. As these students are getting into place, I'll just share with you that 29 of these students this year earned a spot on the honor roll of the school, and 28 students are being recognized for their accomplishments in the area of all-round achievement, citizenship, consistent effort, athletics, and fine arts. Lucy Bleka, Lucas Bosley, Violetta Britskaya, Gabriel Castillo, Connor Chan, Ella Chin, Emma Kutsia, Nisha Colgate, Anna Considine, Chris Eggles, Simon Ehrlich, Angelo Fabris, Alex Fanat, Lucas Galloway, Matthew Hart, Amy Hassel, Georgia Haydock, Allison Hisson, Emily Jackson, Matthew Jaffe, Emma James, Sophia Jeliaskov, Abby Johnson, and finally Isabella Leung. This is our first group of grade 6s. Cindy Lee, Franklin Liu, Olivia Lupin, Fanula McKenna, Marcus Miller, Mateo Murr, Tasha Norris, Matthew Owen Flood, Rhoda Reyna, Tate Robinson, Tara Rolfe, Julie Desun, Mr. James Scott, Meredith Selwood, Marika Shafansky, Alex Shirley, Philip Singh, Alistair Stewart, John Sun, Connor Way, Vanessa Weddick, Liza Weimar, and finally, Zoe Wilson-Potter. Thank you, grade 6s. We have 4 brave grade 6s who are coming to speak to you about their first year at the middle school. We've learned their strengths in numbers, so they're going to speak collectively, and we will reserve our applause until they're finished. So if I could call Lucas Bosley, Matthew Jaffe, Olivia Lupin, and Ella Chin.
Hello, my name is Lucas, Matthew, Olivia, and Ella. Hello, I came from the junior school to grade 6. Grade 6 was a big change for me. You have a lot more responsibilities and you have to act more mature. In the third term, I joined the grade 6 and 7 rugby team. After we practiced for a while and at the end of the rugby season, we went to Vancouver for a tournament. It was a really exciting rugby season. In humanities, we had a choice of a country to present to our friends and parents. And every group brought food, artifacts, and their knowledge. This night was called All Around the World in 80 Minutes. In strings, I play the viola. I've been playing the viola now for 3 years, so I'm pretty extraordinary. After the year was almost over, everybody from grades 4 to 12 played at the UVic, and everyone played their own instrument. I've had an exciting and memorable year in grade 6, and can't wait till next year. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matthew, and I came from the junior school to grade 6. For me, grade 6 was a fabulous year. I've learned so many new things, and I've also had opportunities to demonstrate new responsibilities and to meet new friends. I really like my TAE group and my web leaders too. They sure helped get the school year off in a great way. After the first few weeks of school in September, the soccer season started, and we went to different schools to play tournaments. Later in the fall term, we transitioned into the squash season, then basketball league with Mr. DeGoody was a lot of fun too. After a year of school had almost ended, we went on our out trips to a variety of really cool places, like Craigax Rock Climbing Wall, Royal Victoria Yacht Club, and a lake for paddleboarding. Finally, just last Sunday, we all went up to Camp Thunderbird for 2 nights. We learned so much like specific archery techniques and wilderness skills. We also worked with other people on team building exercises.
Grade 6 has been a wonderful year full of independence and leadership. I've come from junior school, where we use cubbies and walk in line to classes. The transition has been quick and easy. I've enjoyed moving to the middle school because I have got a chance to show responsibility. For example, we each get our own locker, and it is up to us to keep it organized. I love participating in the musical Annie this year. We started auditions in October and performed in March at the McPherson Theatre. We had many rehearsals, even on the weekends. It was a memorable musical, and I loved performing it. I enjoyed it because anyone who wanted to participate could, whether they wanted to be backstage, doing makeup, or on stage. It was their choice. I love that our school is so involved with service. This year, SMOO supported Shooting for Hope. We donated gently used cleats for girls in India who don't get to play or run outside like we do. SMOO is a very eco-friendly school and is so encouraging when it comes to saving the earth. Every classroom in the middle school has a large recycling tower with different bins in it meant for different recycling. There is even a compost sitting on top of the tower. Middle school also has a greenhouse where they are growing several different plants. I've loved joining the middle school because there are so many new kids. I've made many new friends and have gotten to know my old friends even better as we all transition into a new school together.
Compared to my 3 peers here who have spoken, I'm new to SMOO this year. Having known only one person, I thought it was going to be a treacherous, nerve-wracking, and catastrophic first day. I was wrong, though, and I'm kind of happy to say that. At SMOO, we have web leaders. They're like big brothers and big sisters. SMOO web leaders are a group of grade 8 girls and boy students committed to helping new grade 6 students have a better experience at the middle school. My favorite activities with the web group were the gingerbread house making contest and the everything but a sleepover. This year for a sport, I did track. Our smooth track team at the championships was huge. There was 30 people in the middle school that made it, and 16 of the athletes were in grade 6. That's over half of the athletes. My first year at Smooth has been great, and I can't wait for next year. And just one more thing. On behalf of the 4 of us and the grade 6s, we'd like to thank all of our teachers of the middle school for their help and encouragement throughout the year. We thank you very sincerely.
Good evening. That was wonderful. Nights like this are wonderful, and they are important. They bring together the entire extended family of people who are interested in the lives of our students, the teachers, brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, grandparents, other family members, and friends. Nights like this emphasize how much the student is at the center of the SMUS experience. A few weeks ago, I shared with the students the lessons I have learned over the decades of being a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Some of you may not know much about the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's possible that there are people here who don't even know who the Toronto Maple Leafs are. If so, there are people who would say you are lucky. They're a professional hockey team who at different times over in history have been legendary for both the heights and the depths of hockey success and failure. Talking about dreams of the future that our students might have, they shared with me that they would like to be a veterinarian or a writer or a musician. I shared with them that at their age, I wanted to be a hockey player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That did not come to pass. As I said to the students, it would have been the end of hockey as we know it, the sort of professional hockey that only parents would come out to watch. Since then, I have remained a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, as no doubt some of you are. And I have learned the lessons that you might expect from such a hapless and some might say hopeless allocation of my sporting support. For about 10 glorious days this spring, I was, in fact, filled with hope. I accepted my disappointment with resignation and quickly moved on to the next thing. I'm not looking for sympathy. In fact, I know people are more likely to laugh. I do have to say that the students who responded to my question about their aspirations have much more realistic dreams. At a school, one can expect us to say that the next immediate step in achieving your dreams is to do well in school, to study hard, to listen to your teacher, to read your books, to pay attention. There is truth in this. We have built the system so that if you want to succeed in school, you have to do these things. But what about after you graduate from school, when you're further along the journey of pursuing your dreams? It will likely come as no surprise to many of you that in this longer journey, we have to invoke the other half of the SMUS education, the development of character. I say often that the essential purpose of our school is to pursue academic success in an environment where the character and the self also grow. Much research exists to support the notion that success in life does not come from a high IQ or a high mark on provincial exams. Rather, it comes from development of character. An article I read just this week identified the following qualities as the requirements for success. Students, you can check them off as I read them. Perseverance, self-control, optimism, curiosity, social and emotional intelligence, gratitude, joy, and resilience. For anyone who asks why school has to be academically challenging, and also includes sports, outdoor education, service, or the school musical, the answer is development of character. These young people also get a clear and palpable character lesson in action in what we adults say, in what we do, how we do it, why we do it, and how we speak about what we do. This example is a deep lesson. Of course, one group of adults who takes this to heart, and about whom I have to voice my appreciation, is our teaching staff. I have to thank Mr. Abreu and his team of teachers for their fine work. I observe them making a strong and smiling effort to care for these students who are on the middle ground between dependence and independence. They care. They catch a student who is not quite ready for the next step. They challenge the student who is more than ready, and they coach the ones asking questions. Some of our teachers will not be with us next year. Gustav Guzek has been with us on a one-year appointment teaching English. Elise Hepner has been teaching math with us this year and has decided to spend more time working with and enjoying her family. Finally, we also say farewell to Jennifer Poole, who has been working on a one-year appointment covering the leave of absence of Susan Vachon in the Learning Center. It's been a pleasure working with these teachers, and we wish them well. And the school wants to thank Mr. Abreu and all of our teachers for their fine work. More than anyone else, though, it is the students who have met the challenges and experienced the satisfaction of this year. In class, on the field, in the orchestra, band, choir, on outdoor trips, you are the ones who are at the core of our community. School has to be challenging. You have to meet those challenges and support each other, find your own individual strengths, and find your place in our community and the world. Now you can relax. Summer is here. Congratulations, you've worked very well. Thank you.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you very much, choir. I'd like to ask Danielle Topless, who's representing the Alumni Association, to come up to the stage and help us out with our presentation to the grade 7 class. This has been an outstanding year for this grade 7 group. On their record of achievements, 27 have earned a spot on the honor roll, and 40 students are also being recognized for their accomplishment in the areas of all-around achievement, citizenship, improvement, consistent effort, athletics, and fine arts, in addition to all of their co-curricular and other academic awards. Charlotte Ankriwan. Leah Bieberdorf. Jamie Brunzel. Lily Cairns. Joseph Chang. Sarah Sui. Amir Dejiram. Kaesong Dolker. Tatum Drew. Noah El-Hafi. Aisha Emerson. Mark Philea Mote. Chloe Fitzgibbon. Tucker Forbes. Adam Gase. Megan Giallaretto. Finn Goodyear. Sage Griffith. Rachel Grohovac. Matthew Hagel. Kathy Haman. Here is our first group of grade 7s. Lindsay Hannah. Emily Hudgens. Chloe Hooksman. Ephraim Sue. Triumph Kerins. Aidan Kerr. Judy Kim. Haley Kirk. Ethan Coe. Antonia Kowalewski. Lillian Lee. Elise Lincoln. Tony Liu. Alexa Matthews. Orla McElroy. Olivia Meadows. Adam Molden. Iman Nathu. Taylor Noel. Nick Papalukas. Our second group of grade 8 students. Grade 7 students. You see, I already think they're in grade 8. Our last group of grade 7 students. Sarah Perelmuter. Sasha Price-Baff. Jared Reese, Amrit Saini, Harry Shaw, Ryan Smith, Nicholas Strandberg, Maddie Tolmie, Dalal Kubishat, Owen Weissmiller, Reese Williams, Sam Williams, Joshua Wilmot, Matthew Wong, Theodore Wu, and Rachel Ewan. Our last group of grade 7 students. And it's going to be a hard act to follow, but now we have 4 grade 7 students who are going to provide their reflections on the year. Sarah Perlmutter, Antonia Kowalewski, Triumph Kerens, and Ethan Coe.